do a quick study on fabric, and I'm really just going to focus on this area down in here on my little canvas. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to draw a little bit with some. I'm going to do yellow, white. Let's try raw sienna, raw umber, to tone the yellow down a little. That's fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna. So still, your line direction really is always matters. Every single time you're painting, you want to think about that line direction, even as you're applying the paint. Okay, and then there's something in here. I'm going to grab a little water. So you can see how the dry brush, it starts to dry, and as soon as it skips like that, I just put my brush in water, and then just get that paint moving around a little bit. So you can see that I'm just trying to put something on the canvas to start, and I think up here we'll do this. There's something up here. Okay, and then in here there's a lot of information, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. I just want to give you the general idea of how to create fabric with acrylic. So, okay, so now that I have this sort of base down, so if you can see what you're looking at, like this part, and then we have this part that comes down here, and then this side, this in here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the darks. So I'll grab a different brush, and I have my palette. So I'm going to keep the same color. So I've got the yellow, raw umber. I'm adding more raw umber right now so that it's a little bit darker. And I want to have a couple of variations of these tones. So I just have on my palette some differences, right? There's a few differences in tone. So I can start with this area in here. Okay, and it's drying rather quickly, so I have to move fast. So rinse my brush off a little. And then if I go back to the original color, I can sort of mess up that edge and blend those two together. That's a nice smooth transition. Okay, so, and then up in here, I still need that transition to happen, even though there's a very light tone above it. So now I can go to a lighter version. So I'm taking my palette. Now I'm just adding some white to what I have. And then I'm trying to decide where to put it. And then I'm going to wipe my brush, and then I'm going to see how those transitions really matter. If I just go along the edge of what I just painted down and just keep a nice soft portion. Whoops, I kind of messed that up. There. Keep it a little dark in the middle. You can start to see it develop, but you have to work at it, and it's still, you need those layers, and then with those layers you really want to try to I'm going to actually grab some more white. Just keep your edges soft. Okay, so if I just laid that down, so now I need to go in, rinse my brush, wipe it into like spin my brush, and then if I hit the edge with my brush, I can soften the sides so it's not such a hard line. We want that soft line to appear so that it starts looking like it's coming, right? Lights come forward, darks go back, right? Lights forward, darks recede. So you need those, the transitions are so soft from forward to back that you really need those differences. There's a little bit of a light spot in there. I'll go ahead and, like, that's coming forward. You know, and then you're tricking the eye so that you can see clearly. So I'll keep going on this for just like 2 more minutes or so. Where am I? Grabbing white. And then I'm actually going to do, I like going back and forth between the lights and darks, like start with a good middle ground and then go back and forth, because your contrast, as it develops, it can really help to define, and you can see better. Like, you have to be able to see what you're doing, you know. It seems redundant to say that, but if you can't see it, how can you put it in? Right, so now I'm just using the tip of my brush with a little bit of water. It has some of the paint on it already, so I'm just trying to move it around. Oops. Okay, so I want to make some orange so that I can do some of these areas with the orange. It's a really nice palette. It's very subtle. Okay, so I have an orange here. Let me look at that. I'm actually going to throw a little burnt sienna in there. I'm going to add a little bit of white. Ooh, it needs more yellow. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so where am I? That's that. Oh, it's over here. So I'm going to go... This is a beautiful reference. I'm not sure who this is, but I really like it. I actually see a little in here too. Okay, I'm going to switch brushes to that smaller one, and then I'm going to grab my mid-tone, and oops, that has a lot of light in it. Need some water. Oops. Could you spray this too, please? Oh. Okay. Okay, so once you get enough paint on your canvas, you can start moving it around a little bit with some water on the tip of your brush. I'm actually going to fix this.
White was but mostly yellow is like apple.
Okay, so just to reiterate, we want to remember that the lights come forward and the darks are going to recede. So we need to really be thoughtful about our line direction and where we're putting our lights and darks, and then where we're adding our tints of color. Oh, wait, I forgot what I got on my brush. Okay, I still need to do this lighter little dip. Okay, so as far as technique goes, I guess I'm sort of shifting between like wet on wet, a little bit of dry brush, and then some glazing. Every time I dip my brush into the water and smooth out edges, that's a glazing technique. So transitions really matter. Your variation of lights and darks really matter. So I'm just trying to highlight this really slowly and subtly, and also keep my edges soft. So, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm working on this area down here. So it's really easy to lose your place in the picture. Okay, so basically I'm going to be doing the same things over and over again until this is a little bit more developed. The video is at about 15 minutes right now, so I think I'm going to stop here so it's not too long. But you're basically just, you know, you're focusing on line direction, tone, value, tints of color, you know, like breaking it down to the elements, breaking it down to the basics of what you see, and you know, doing your best to make those duplications and in the right spot. So you're thinking composition. So you are thinking about a lot. There's a lot to consider with your work, and just keep on developing. Okay, have fun.